Hey guys, welcome back to another acrylic painting lesson. I'm Mike Ferris, and to get started I'm going to be on this 11 by 14 inch pre-stretched canvas, and my image already laid out as you can see here. And again, this image is available down at the Patreon link in the description box below, as well as colors and materials, which I'll be going over. So I'm going to be starting off now with my 3/4 flat brush here. It's got a nice little edge on it, and on my palette to start I have some permanent black, some raw umber, burnt umber. This is ultramarine blue, violet, Cad Red, Cad Orange, Cad Yellow, and titanium white. So I'm just going to mix up a little black and this raw umber mixture here. Just a very dark color. I don't want it completely black, so just a little brown in there just to kind of keep from that. And just something like that. Just going to load that brush up. And I'm just going to start up here on the top and just go around the hamburger with this. So in small areas like this, I can actually wiggle the brush on the canvas like that, and it gives it a nice chiseled edge and very sharp points. And with that, I can go in here and just use the tip of the brush, see, just like that, and I can really get into these very small areas very precisely. And it's very easy to do like this. Again, use an angle brush, as this is the same thing, except of course you have the bristles angled down and the little tip there, so those other bristles are out of the way. And you might find that that's actually easier to use than a full-on flat brush. But again, whatever brush you're comfortable with is totally fine. So I'm just going to go in here, like I said, and just fill around all the different stuff and just bring all this down. Okay, now I'm going to grab a little bit of this raw umber, and I'm just going to take just a little bit on the corner of my brush here of some of this violet and a little titanium white, not much. And I'm going to say something about like this. And this is to show a table or some kind of surface for this greasy burger to sit. So I'll just block in right now with this value down here. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little bit more white. And this is to show some highlight on the table here. So I'm just going to, for now, just kind of block in everything with its general color where it goes. And right here, again, like I said, I'm going to leave, well, with this highlight, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap here because, as you know, with objects on a table or surface, the shadow is always darkest right underneath it. And then it leaves, and then it starts to become lit up out here with just a little bit of highlight. So just something like this. And again, if there's something I don't like, if there's too much highlight somewhere, I can just take another value of this here and just cover over any or all of this highlight to any degree. So really just go for it, and just maybe you want to put some wood grain details in, I don't know, just kind of something like that, maybe, just however. Okay, so I'm just going to clean my brush now, and I'll just let that sit and dry. I'll build a little bit more values on top, and that'll create texture and show more of a wood sort of table that the burger's sitting on. But for now, I'm just gonna move on and just start blocking everything in from top to bottom here. So I'm gonna make up a sort of dull orangey color here. There's gonna be some brown in this. So same brush, I'm taking my my 3/4 flat brush here. I'm just gonna take a little Cad Orange here and see, find a spot right here on the palette to kind of organize my colors a little bit and keep space where I can work still and not take up the whole thing with too much. So let's see, I'm going to take a little bit of this raw umber Okay, that dulls that orange down pretty good like this. And to that, some titanium white. Okay, so a little bit more orange. I think that I want to dull it. Let's see, let's go with a little bit of burnt umber this time. And actually I'm going to add a little bit of Cad Yellow to it. Okay, so again, this is just base color. Even if this isn't the final color, the adjustments on top of base color really brings out depth and realism and makes colors pop that much more. So I'm not worried about getting too precise right off the bat. And like I said, just base color, base coating this stuff for now. Just kind of this general dull orange bun color here. And I'll just block in right now on the top of this. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit more of this burnt umber now into that same mixture. And this is going to be my shadow side here to the right. So of course over here will be my light coming in. So I'm going to darken this value and let's get this played in right here. And I'll just take this out to the left here. And where I wanted it the darkest and the heaviest, of course, I went all the way over and then working this paint over. As the paint gets less on the brush, I'm going to be able to just give it light pressure and drag this over. Okay, and then just going to drag this out with light pressure on my brush, and I can get this nice gradient and blend of natural light play happening on the bun here. And I'll add more layers. This is just for now, just like I said, getting things where they go. Just kind of creating some depth and shadow, getting some values where they go for now. So I'm going to clean my brush now to get the brown out of it. And up here, I just want to add a little bit more of an orange tone, but I want to dull it down still, so a little bit more Cad Orange. And I'll just apply it right here where I still have some of that brown in here. And I'm thinking something like this. And I'll get this value up here. And this is really going to start to build some dimension and make a three-dimensional look start to happen with this bun as I start playing these different values on this base coat here. And just kind of playing this stuff in. See, I'm even going to take this down into that dark value a little bit. Sort of have that play into it and sort of bring this together. See, that just kind of helps bring it all in and just gives those nice transitions. Okay, so I'm just kind of petting the canvas now, just bringing this over and just sort of dusting this over this lighter value here. Okay, if I go outside, no big deal. Just take a dark color or just wipe it off. No problem. Okay, so something like that. And then what I want to do now is get more Cad Yellow. And I want to get more white. I want this value a little bit more. Okay, a little bit more yellow and white. All right, something I'm thinking like this maybe. And of course this will be on the highlight side. Or yeah, our light source side here. Okay, and so I kind of want to dust this out a little bit right here. And I want to preserve more of this orange saturated color up here. So I don't want to bring that any further that way on top, but I will bring it over down here a little bit more. So something about like that. Okay, so it's starting to take some dimension and shape there a little bit, and I'll come back in here and work some more stuff. But for now, I just kind of want, like I said, I want to get the values kind of generally where they go. And I'll come back in and add more values on top of this for more layers. And that just makes a smoother painting and gives it more fullness that way. So now what I want to do is I'm going to come in here now with some of that dark background color and just kind of give this a bit of a shadow somewhere in here. And under here, there's a little bit of light play from the light source coming in, and it's going to be some bun showing under here, but a little bit darker than this, of course. So I'm going to add some more brown now into that orange mixture. Okay, just kind of something like this. Okay, so I got kind of some of the yellow and some of that orangey brown mixture that I had before, and now I'm just adding more burnt umber to that. And I'm thinking something around this tone. And I'll just go ahead and apply that here. Okay, without cleaning my brush, I'm going to take this dark background color. It's a little bit of black, a little raw umber, and I didn't clean my brush. And with this, because it's not as open on the underside of the bun as it is right here over here, I'm going to take this dark value now. And this is going to start to show some realism here on the dimension and the 3D effect of this guy. So again, just using the tip and the edge, and I can get in here very well with these really small areas very precisely this way. Okay, and I'm going to drag just some of this over here and just sort of blend this in to the bottom side of the bun here, just to show some shadow play. That way it doesn't just suddenly go to really dark from light, but it has this natural transition. That just adds a little bit more realism that way. Okay, so I'm just going to pet the canvas now that this brush is mostly out of this color. It'll be very easy to just sort of put just a little bit of it on this value here, and it'll show that nice natural transition just like this. Okay, and actually I'm going to drag that value all the way just right here to kind of show that it's not getting in the light as much there. That also brings out more realism this way and more dimension in this kind of way as well. And just sort of blend that down a bit. Okay, something like that. And now that starts to really look more realistic, like a bun there. Okay, just playing these shadow color, or these values and tones back and forth, and blending over one and one over the other until you like what you see. And again, what's really cool is if you get a value that's too strong or not enough or whatever, you can always take a value and knock it back and blend back the other way and vice versa, and it'll just come out. So really just trust the process, add as many layers as you need to, blend as much as you need to back and forth, and I'm telling you, it just will come out. That's the magic and the beauty of acrylics for you. So now what I'm going to do is make up a green that is a general base color for our lettuce here. So I'm going to take some ultramarine blue, and I chose this over phthalo blue, mixing this with yellow because I felt like it was going to give me more of a realistic green this way. And in this piece, my whole goal and my satisfaction in this is to make this as realistic as possible. So I thought, when I pick my colors, I want to pick them to be as realistic as I possibly can. So I felt like ultramarine blue was definitely the blue to choose for this particular piece. So I'm just going to do something like this. And this is really good right here. This is pretty much what I'm looking for. Okay, so just kind of going back and forth like hockey, and then I'll scoop it up, smash it down, and pick it up a few times, smash it down. That just really helps to get all the empty or the hidden pockets of color that don't mix. So I'm going to switch to my angle brush here. This is a 1/4 inch, or actually a 13 millimeter. You can use whatever size or brush you want. Like I said though, whatever you're comfortable with. This just really helps to get into these smaller areas. And I really just want to be able to go for it a little bit more than the bigger brush. So I'm going to go into this green here and just load up something like this. Get that nice edge and that tip on there. And just go ahead and block in all of the lettuce with this. Okay, now I'm going to clean my brush again. And as you can see, very transparent. And you can definitely see all the different lines for different shadowed areas that I've got laid out for the lettuce and all of its fold areas. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to take a little bit of this violet and go some titanium white. And just a little bit of this Cad Red into it. A little bit more Cad Red. I kind of want to put this on sort of the reddish side here. Okay, something like this. Again, just base color. And let's get our red onion filled in right here. Okay, without cleaning, I'm just going to take a little bit of this black and raw umber. And this is the underside here. Okay, going to go back to that dark color here. This is the black and the raw umber. Alright, and I'm going to go just kind of something like this. And again, just these shadowed areas here. Like that. And this just gives it lift, and it's going to give more of that realistic dimension and 3D look with all this shadow going on here. So again, right in here. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take some of this Cad Red, a little bit of this Cad Orange, and now some titanium white. I want this kind of light. Okay, very light color like this. And right in here, it's going to be hitting the light. The light's going to be hitting the top of the tomato here. And then I'm going to say something like, see with this angle brush, it's really cool. I can get in here and just make these precise little angles and shapes and everything just like that, very smooth in one stroke. That's what I love about these things. Okay, so again, if you don't have an angle brush, a nice flat brush with a good edge on it works good too. Okay, just anything you're comfortable with, and however you can achieve these shapes and all of that, use what you have and use what you prefer. Okay, so just going to block this top part in like this, just like that, and I'll put a little bit of this value right here as well, where the light's going to be striking this part of it as well. Okay, just kind of something like in this area. And I just kind of want to run that out. Just let this kind of fuzziness happen, because then I'll be able to blend into that really well, make a nice gradient with that shadow and light play here on that side of that tomato there. Okay, so just cleaning my brush off. And now what I want to do is, again, go back into this Cad Red, a little bit of Cad Orange, and do something about like this. No titanium white this time. And of course, if your shape is out of whack, you can always take this and smooth it out, like mine right here. Got a few bumps in it, maybe. And you can fix anything anytime. Okay, and as I get right here on this part, it's very, very light pressure. I'm just going to sort of stir this into this. Just kind of like that. Just kind of gives it that nice little gradient and transition here. And just like that. And I'll enhance that more. But again, just base coating everything for now. I'm going to go up here and darken this down just a little bit with some of this raw umber. Okay, so kind of in the shadow area here. And a little change in value here just kind of shows, again, more realistic play and just more three-dimensional look and more realism to this tomato. So just gonna run this like this. So right now I just want to take, again, some yellow here, quite a bit. Now, just a teeny bit of orange. If you're not careful, this orange will take over the entire batch. I just want to dull this yellow down just a little bit and kind of give it sort of this yellow cheese color, if that makes sense. Maybe something like that. And I'm thinking something like that as a base color. Okay, and with my same angle brush, I'm going to go in here and I always like to dry off my brushes just a little bit. If they're too wet, then it just, paint doesn't lay down very well. It's too thin and all of that. So with just this value here, I'm going to go ahead and just block in our cheese with this. All right, I'm going to take some burnt umber, or I'm sorry, raw umber and burnt umber. Okay, again, just a general color here. And I'll block in the burger patty with this. And I suppose while I had these values going, I could have went down here with that same one because, of course, it's the same bun. So I think next time I'll stick to that, but that's okay because I'll just go back in. A little bit of this. And let's see, maybe a little bit of Cad Yellow to warm that just a bit. Okay, something like this. And again, just blocking it in. I'm going to add a little bit of raw umber and burnt umber together into some of this orangey color here. And right down here, just gonna sort of flick this up like that, and see how that just kind of creates some shadow down here. Okay, just like this. Yeah, just something like that. And then I want to take now some titanium white to that orangey mixture here, a little bit more of this Cad Yellow, more white. Okay, let's see, getting some of that color off my brush there. Okay, something like this. And I'm going to go up here, just kind of do something like this where the light's kind of hitting the top of this bun here. Just like this. Seeing that adds a nice little shadow there. Okay, a little bit more right down in here. Okay, just kind of like that. Okay, so I want to desaturate this orange just a little bit. And with that, I'm going to take, again, a little bit more of this orangey brown mixture here into this light, or into the white that I made. Okay, something like this. And with this same value, I'm going to come back up here and work some more of this around now. And I kind of want something like that. Okay, I'm actually going to clean this brush off now. I'm going to change brushes. And I want to do some more shading and some transition stuff and add some more values on here and just really bring this out. I'm going to go to my number 4 natural flat brush. The natural bristles are super duper awesome for getting gradients and transitions, so I'm going to use that, and I'm going to go back into this value with that. and apply a little bit more of this saturated orangey color. And as you can see, as I stir this up, it really allows me to blend this very well into these areas here. So just something like that. Kind of want to smooth out this a little bit, so I'm going to get a little bit more of this burnt umber and this Cad Orange together, and just kind of really want to come in here and just kind of base over this a little bit. Just going to take this number 2 natural bristle brush and just kind of stir this up as I bring it into this lighter value, and just look at how nice of a transition that is. Super good brush for doing all these things. Absolutely awesome. Okay, something like that. Okay, and I'll even go into this lighter stuff even. Okay, and I can come in here and go back over this kind of muddied, sort of dirty stuff here. And just kind of like this. Okay, so looking better. And now I'm going to take again a little bit more of this burnt umber, and right over here, make this a little bit darker. There's going to be some light that sneaks in right here, and with this darker value, it's really going to contrast against that bright highlight that snuck in on this side, and just really pop off of there and give it this awesome shine. And just really ramp up the desire to want to eat this guy, I guess. So just gonna bring this kind of over like this. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this brush. All right. So as you can see, all the values now in their general locations. Obviously, I mean, there is some dimension, but as we can see it, for the most part, like the lettuce looks flat, the cheese looks flat. Obviously the patties don't have any detail, but again, with acrylics, you want to block in a general color overall. And then now what I'm going to do is start working all these different values and details on top of everything. And this is really what's going to bring out all of this dimension and texture, and just start to make this pop and just be this awesome looking cheeseburger that you're going to be like, it looks like I can grab it and just eat it right now. So I'm going to keep working on the bun right now. So as I come over this way, I want to get some really bright highlights here. And this is really going to make this bun pop a little bit more. So I'm going to take some yellow now and some white into that orange mixture. Okay, a little bit of, again, burnt umber, just so I can dull that down. Okay, wiping a lot of that color off, and I want to get more white here. Okay, something like this. This is really going to make this highlight pop and bring out some shine on this. So I'm going to say right in here. And I'll bring this all the way over. And as you can see, I'm barely touching the canvas now with these natural bristles. And this is what's really cool, is when I do that, you can see how this really takes off and blends it super well into this other value here of orange. See, just like that, and you can dust this out. See, so I just kind of stir it up a little bit, and again, if I blend too much of this into areas where I don't want so much of this color, just take again that other value and blend back over it and knock it back. And each time you blend back and forth, the blending just gets smoother, the transition looks more realistic, and it just adds just more of a smoother, better look and more full and all of that. It makes all the colors more vibrant and pop as well. So definitely just go for it. Don't be afraid to have to come back and blend back over again, and vice versa, because again, the more layers means it's a better painting and it's just going to get better and smoother. So I'm just going to take and drag this over. Just kind of do that. You can even use your fingers and smooth it out if you need to. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do now is, see, just kind of wipe a lot of that color off the paint, or a lot of that paint off the brush. I just kind of want to take what's already here now, and I just want to blend this in from here. And just kind of something like that. So we get that light hitting it like this. Okay, now what I want to do, take a little bit more of that orangey color. I'm just going to get a little bit more yellow now. And that just warms it up, makes it a little bit more vibrant, because of course in the light area we want more of that in that way. So as you can see, the orange is a little bit more vibrant. And I want to take this now, and I just kind of want to go back over some of this, just like this. Just really helps to settle that down a lot more. Yeah, something like that. All right, and I think I'll take some of this down here as well. Okay, I'm going to clean that brush. I want to do another coat of this base color of the lettuce, and I want to make that as full and as saturated as I can. So I'm going to go back into that, and I'm just going to block in another layer for the lettuce here. Okay, so my camera died. I apologize. What I did was I took that orange and red mixture, and I went ahead and did highlights here with titanium white, and I also took burnt umber and red to make this dark maroon area to cast a shadow from the red onion being over it, and then added some more of these lighter, same value as this, inside to show some of the flesh of the tomato, and then added highlight as well over here with that value. And then for the onion, I just took some titanium white and some red and a little bit of that violet, and just did some of these streaking lines. And it just basically went back and forth with different values of the violet and some titanium white to create all the texture here. And I do apologize for the footage delay there, and I am back up and running. So I hope this helps out. I hope you guys are able to capture this. It's not much at all, very simple. Again, just some values and tones, and not much. You didn't miss much. So let's move right along now. I'm gonna go now onto the lettuce now. I want to start adding some shadows and highlights and really detail the different folds and all of the three-dimension realism on all of the lettuce stuff. So I'm gonna take now, again, my number 2 flat brush here, my nylon one, and I'm gonna change the values of these greens. And with this, I'm going to add more or less blue, sometimes more white and sometimes yellow. And it's just a matter of using this to change the green values here, and in turn that's going to show all of the dimension and depth. So I'm going to add now some more ultramarine blue to this green that I made. And as you can see, it's a lot darker now. And I'm going to start to add some shadow areas for now. And I'm not going to worry about anything else. I just want to apply just this shadow value in all of the different places. Okay, so as you can see, it's already starting to have dimension and shape and all of that. So all of these different values, it's really all about the values playing together, and you can really turn up the three-dimensional look with this. So of course, as I'm doing these shadows, I don't want to cover up all this base color. And then of course, when I do highlights, I still don't want to cover it all up because it's going to be playing together, all of them, and that's what's going to give all of that depth and dimension and all of the folds and the turns in the lettuce, instead of looking like it's just flat. So just applying the shadow here and there, but not everywhere. And again, cover up a shadow if you don't like it in a place. Put as much or little as you want. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. Wherever you want to put a shadow, it's kind of like landscapes. That's where it lives, and that's where it should be. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush now after applying that shadow color there. And now what I want to do is get some yellow and white. And this is going to really bring out some of these highlights here. So just a little bit of blue. I want to maintain just a little bit of that green hue. But right here, this very light green, kind of muted yellow is really going to set this off. So let's see, on the very outskirts here, you can see I can hit that highlight, and look how that just pops right off of that shadow super well that way. And this is really exciting now. You get to watch this come to life, and just all of its detail just light up and get all the dimension and texture and all these things happening. So just gonna hit the outsides here where the light's really hitting it, and you can totally see the lettuce better now this way. And let's see, it's gonna be more solid highlight color right in here. Okay, kind of like that. Okay, so I want to go, let's see, I want to just a touch of blue and some of this yellow again. So I get back to that green, and this time I want to go a little bit more titanium white and some more yellow, lots of yellow. Okay, so I want to get this really nice glow tone to this lettuce. It just really warms it up, and it really makes it pop and gives it that inviting look of really fresh, awesome lettuce. And I wanted to do kind of this golden yellow with a hint of green in it so that I could sort of have a different sort of glow tone from the rest of the direct highlights that more or less outline the edges of the lettuce here, so that between those two and then the shadows and then the base color all coming together, it's really gonna make this thing glow and pop in such a special way. And this is really gonna light this up. See a little glow tone like that. And if I go up here, there's a little bit of it right in here. And I'll bring some shadow color down into this just a little bit, and that's going to give it more of a three-dimensional curve in here. But for now, I'm just going to get this glow color in some places here and there. Okay, so I'll throw that there. And let's see, I'm thinking something in here. And I don't really care. It's just whatever, however, just kind of experiment. Again, if you don't like something, take a value, cover it back, thin it out, or cover it completely. Anything goes. And I say just play around with these different values and tones, see what looks good where. And I'm telling you, you're going to discover things. You're going to see a fold somewhere. You're going to go, oh, I got to strike a highlight there. Or there's going to be a gold glow on this part of the leaf of the lettuce there. Just whatever you want to do and however you see this. And I'm telling you, as long as you have all these values playing together, everything's going to come together and pop and be super magnificent. What I'm going to do is really set this lettuce off with a very, very bright highlight. And I'm just going to take just a little bit of that color that I was just using, and mostly titanium white to that. So let's see, a little bit more of that color. There we go. See, it's just got a little bit of a hue of that, but again, with mostly white. And I'm going to go in here and just really set the edges of this lettuce off and make this guy pop super duper. And that's going to also invite the glow that I just applied. I had that yellow in there, and you can see how that really starts to take off there. And right here, I'm just going to apply a very bright striking highlight that just kind of starts heavy here, and then I just kind of want to dust that out as I bring it into that yellow glow, and just kind of have that glow take over from there. Okay, just kind of something like that. Okay, and maybe over here as well. Back to my number 2 nylon flat brush here for this, and I'm going to start building up different values on the cheese here. So what I'd like to do is take some of this yellow that I made. Remember, that's just a very small touch of orange. And I actually want to take a little bit more of this burnt umber into it. And I want to apply this just in some areas and just kind of deepen and thicken this color. And so this also will make it a lot more saturated this way, and it'll cover in everything better. So just gonna basically add another coat of base onto this and just try to make this look fuller here. As you'll see with acrylics and painting, the yellow is really hard to, well, not hard, it just takes more layers to get it to be visible more and to get more opaque. And it takes even more layers to get it more vibrant, especially against something dark. So definitely just gonna put down another base coat of this stuff. Right, I'm going to now apply some different stuff here on the cheese. I'm going to take a little bit of this Cad Red, and I'm gonna pick up a little bit of burnt umber, and let's see, right here there's gonna be this charbroil mark on the cheese there. I'm gonna take a little bit of raw umber and some permanent black, and I want to do this and show this grill mark here. Okay, just kind of something like that. And I'll add some of that over here as well. And then there's some of that kind of happening right here. Okay. Okay, another char mark there, maybe on the cheese. And then there's one, it's kind of like, I don't know, something like this. And I'm going to go back to, I'm going to go to my number 4 natural flat bristle brush here. This is going to, again, help me to do these gradients really well. So with that said, I am going to take this same value here, and I'm going to add a little raw umber into that. So it's going to be a very dark, well, a darker shadow color here. Okay, something like that. And I'm gonna run that. Let me get that hair out of there. Right here. Okay, and this will go all the way up, and that indicates this piece of cheese, that piece of cheese, And now we see a separation here. Okay, something like that. Also over here, there's like more of the shadow area underneath the tomato there. And right under here. About right in here, there's a little shadow where this drips on top of this. And this is going to give this lift right here. Okay, so something like this. There's a divot here where the cheese bends. And so to show that, I'm going to put this darker shadow in here. I'm actually going to darken this. I just want to map this out first. Okay, I'm going to go into more of this color. I'm going to add this time a little bit of raw umber and scoop some of this yellow so that it's just a little bit darker. Kind of like this brown color. And right here, I really want to show off this divot in the cheese here. It's really going to give it more shine and dimension and make this pop and give some realistic features to it this way. All right, something like that. All right, now I'm going to pick up some more of this yellow here. And I want to knock this back just like this and also blend over it. I want to give this really natural look to this. So let's see. Just going to go something like this. And I'll just take it all the way around. And actually, if I go over the whole thing, you can get it to look more natural and settled down. So I'm going to go around now and just take just yellow. And this is going to really kind of set this off in some highlight type of ways. And I'll come in right here. Okay, just kind of something like this. I'm going to take some Cad Orange and a little bit of this burnt umber. And I want to take some of this yellow to it. I really want to set this groove off and give it a very realistic color here. So with that, see, so I'm just barely touching the canvas and I'm just dragging this out. And I'm going to start striking just the highlights, the direct highlights on the cheese here. This is really going to set this off. So just a teeny bit of Cad Yellow, mostly titanium white. Okay. And with this, I'm going to just hit the edge of this cheese right here. And I'm just going to dust this back Just kind of something like that. See, it just really lights it off, or sets it off there, and just really lights it up really well. Over here just a little bit, and right here I want to follow the curve of the cheese here like this, and just kind of do something like that. You just direct striking highlights. Okay, I'm going to get it more Cad Yellow now. So right here on top of this shadow here, just want to get a bright highlight there. It just helps to show the fold of the shadowed area here of the cheese. Okay, just kind of want to go over that a little bit. And then down here as well. I'm just continuing to work with this shadow here a little bit more. I'm going to take some burnt umber to that, a little bit of this yellow, and I'm wiping most of the paint off the brush, just a teeny bit, and right in here in the very center I want to make this a little bit darker than the rest of the outside of this, and that'll really help to show a more realistic divot that's going on here instead of just some dark spot in the middle of the cheese here. So it's all about how the colors are put down and all the blending and different values again that play together. So I think it's something like this, and now with most of that color off the brush, I don't need to clean, and I'm just going to take a little bit of this, and I want to just go in here and just kind of brush over very, very lightly. I've got very little paint on the brush too, and just gives it more of a natural look to it. Okay, so something like this. Okay, and there it is. Just something like that. Okay, so now I'm just going to come in here and kind of change the value of the cheese over here. It's more in the shadow area. Okay, so I'll do something like that. And I'm going to take my nylon brush here. This is a number 3 nylon round brush, and I'm going to start going into the meat here and start doing these different tones and values. So before I get going on that, what I'd like to do is take some of this burnt umber and just a little bit of yellow. This is just to warm it up a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of titanium white to that. Okay, maybe a little bit more yellow to warm that just a little bit more. There we go, something like this. Okay, there's one value of brown there. And again, some burnt umber to that. And I really want to kind of have this orangey brown. Okay, so I'll get some titanium white into that. Okay, something like this. I'll actually get a little bit more orange to that. That's a little too much. There we go. So something like this. I'm actually going to take a little bit more burnt umber into this. And I'd like to get some more yellow. And some more white. Okay, something like that. Alright, so I'm going to take now, I'm just going to pull it through to a point. Okay, kind of like this. You know what's cool with this is I can come in here and make all of these cool shapes. So I'm just going to randomly just kind of start with just the tip like this and then just press a little bit harder. And I can make these little shapes like this. So I'm just going to randomly just go throughout this area of the meat here and just make all of these different shapes. And I'll start with this value here, and you know, again, if I don't like something, I can just take this darker value and cover it up or use it to shape this the way it should be. So any brush you want to use, I like the round brush for this because again, it's given me the shapes that I believe I need here for this. Okay, so you can do this. Just kind of work it in, dance it in, however. And now I'm going to go into this orangey color here. Okay, a little different value. And I'm going to play this here and there. Okay, I'm going to clean this round brush now. And what I want to do now is I want to go back to my number 2 nylon flat brush. And I want to go in with some raw umber and permanent black mixed and go in there and create shadow in between some of this. And so just a little bit of paint on the brush. I'm going to go just kind of like this. Right in here, there's like a lot of this more charred area of the meat here. Deepen the shadow over here. And like I said, I'll put some highlights in here and that'll show the different texture of the meat, of the light that snuck over. But for the most part, that is a very dark shadow area there. All right, I'm gonna go in now and take just some of this straight up burnt umber, just right out of the tube here, and I'm gonna come in here and just add some of this, again, here and there, but not everywhere. Okay, what I'm going to do is take some white now to that raw umber. Okay, just kind of something like this. And I'll take actually some burnt umber into that. Okay. And again, wiping a lot of that paint off the brush, and I'm just going to go, again, just here and there, not everywhere. I want to take a little bit of this burnt umber again, and some Cad Red, and some titanium white, just a little bit, and a little Cad Orange. Alright, a little bit more Cad Yellow to that. And something of this nature right here. Okay. Just kind of want to hit some of this stuff here and there. Just kind of pops out some of these different areas here with these different values. Again, go in here with this permanent black and raw umber for some shadow. I'm going to take now a little bit more raw umber and some titanium white so that it's not quite black, but it's a little bit of a different value here, and just kind of want to show something like this. And I want to take just some of this now and some titanium white. And a little bit of orange to that. And a little burnt umber to that. And more titanium white. And right here, there's going to be more light striking this part of it. So I'm just going to dab it in. Leave some of that dark in there. Okay, just like that. And I'll also take some of it in here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take now just a mixture of some of this stuff, mixture of some of these browns here. And I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to just knock some of this black back just a bit. It just looks like it needs to be more solid. So again, you just work this until you like what you see, and super easy to do. It just turns out it comes when it's supposed to, and it's just awesome. Painting is super, I find, very enjoyable, very relaxing, and I just love it. Okay. Alrighty. Now I want to take just some burnt umber, I'm sorry, raw umber alone. No black in it this time. And just kind of apply just some of this stuff back in. Yeah, just however. All good. Okay. Some more of this, some more of that, a little bit of white. Okay, now I'm going to take just pure titanium white. And I'm going to go, this is really going to set this off and get the grease going. Okay, just kind of doing this. I'm just going to kind of hit this wherever. I don't want to go into these dark areas here, but just kind of at the edge where these things happen on the edges of these where they're rounded out. I'll just put them on there, and that's really going to show some nice juicy burger here. Okay, so in this dark area over here, I'm just gonna kind of tap. As you can see, shows the burger over there in the shadow area really well. Okay, just like that. Okay, I'm gonna take some orange, some yellow, a little of this brown, and some titanium white here. Okay, so something like this, and kind of right in here, just a little change of value in the shadow area with some of this grease color here. Okay, just like that. And just kind of show some other texture things here and there with this. So just wherever, however, and again, don't be afraid to go for something, and just know that you can just take the value, the dark value, whatever it was that was there before, cover over anything that you don't like. I'm gonna take my number 3 nylon round brush here, and I'm gonna just go into straight titanium white, just with the very tip here. And I'm really gonna sparkle up these grease shine areas here super duper well. All right, I'm gonna knock back some of these highlights, so I'm gonna take just some of this brown mixture here, a little yellow in it, and I'm gonna come in here and just kind of some adjustments and knocking back colors. You can see I've done some highlights, and now this is starting to look like a really greasy burger. And I also took and did some of these white highlights underneath here, just to show where the bottom of the burger is between the cheese where the shadow is, and just how it's making nice grease little pool here on top here. So anyway, with that, I'm going to proceed on just continuing with some more highlight stuff, and I'm going to make some more stuff pop. So on this red onion here, I'm going to take just pure titanium white, and this is my number 2 flat brush, my regular nylon flat brush, and just going to hit the direct highlights that are striking right here. Now I'm going to go into the Cad Red and some Cad Orange, and quite a bit of white this time to make it even lighter. And with this, I'm going to strike a highlight on the very edge to give that separation between the edge and the very top of the tomato, like so. And with that same highlight color, I'm going to drag that down and just hit the side of the tomato, and that really shows some shine and really lights it up into our light source, just like this. Now with all that color off my brush, just pure titanium white, and I really want to strike a very direct, bright highlight like this, and I'll just drag that just down again on the edge, or actually the side of the tomato. Okay, going back into this base color yellow that I made for my cheese. And with this, I just want to take that, and I want to go just a little bit of paint and lightly brush back over this shadow and just kind of hit the edges and bring it in to settle it down just a little bit more. Okay, now what I want to do is strike a highlight on the bottom edge of the bun here, and I want to place some values back and forth. So I'm going to take now a little bit of orange and a little bit of white and a little bit of this burnt umber into it just to dull it back a little bit, and again more white to lighten that. So I want this very light, dull, orangey brown color here. And with this, I'm just going to strike the edge of the bottom of the bun just like so. Now I'm going to take some of this brown mixture here and a little bit of Cad Orange into that, and some raw umber to darken that down. So again, this is my number 2 nylon flat brush, and with this, I'm going to use the edge, and I'm going to strike some of these cracks in the bun like so. Now I'm going to go back into that orangey brown color with some more titanium white to get that light highlight color. And again, I'm going to strike the highlight, and I'm going to bring that down and dust it down and bring it over those dark crack lines that I made. And this is going to help to settle those down and bring everything together more natural this way. Now I'm going to get some of this Cad Yellow and just a touch of Cad Orange and some titanium white. So I want this yellow peachy color, and to this just a little bit more Cad Yellow. And I want to take this and put it just under the highlight and sort of blend it in a little bit up into the white or into the bright highlight there. And then I want to dust it down a little bit into that darker orange, and this just really sets off the light play and it just gives it more of a realistic look this way. Okay, now I'm going to start applying the sesame seeds on the bun up top here. So I'm going to start by making a very light, very dull orangey color. So with my palette knife, I'm going to take a little bit of Cad Orange and some titanium white and just a teeny bit of this burnt umber here. And that's my duller right there. And mostly titanium white, and I want this extremely light, very dull orange color. And I'm going to use this to pretty much make all of the sesame seeds for now with this value. I'll change the value just a little bit, but not much. And I'm going to end up using my number 3 nylon brush with this. This is the perfect brush for making these teardrop looking seeds here. So I'm going to pull it through and turn it to a point. And just like so, this is going to really help to get these nice shapes here of these sesame seeds. So right here, I'm going to just hit just the tip of the brush. And then as I pull forward a little bit, I'm going to get more pressure on the brush and it's going to create this pear shape. And just like that easy, I can create all of these sesame seeds. So on the top here, I want to create this dimension where it looks like they all go back. And as you can see, this is going to be sort of a very skinny oblong looking shape and a little bit smaller as it comes to the top of the bun because again, it's going back and showing its dimension that way. So just here and there, I'm just going to randomly put these in different positions, and you can omit this step and just say you want a plain bun without these seeds in it, or just put them in however you want and as many as you want. Cover anything up if you don't like it, and it's all good. So just really go for it and try out that round bristle brush, or I'm sorry, the round nylon brush. It's excellent for this. So as you'll see again, I'm pulling it through, and that brings it to a nice point, and I can just hit just the tip of the brush anywhere I choose, and then bring it forward, and then again add more pressure as I come away from where I started, and I can really get in there really nice and very quickly. It just makes these nice shapes, and I can even fill them in and make them a little bigger if they're not, if they're too small or whatever. And again, knock back anything if they are out of whack or too small or too big or whatever you need to do. So now with some white on this natural round brush, I'm just going to put some of that right here, and it's going to look like it's making a mess, but this is going to really set this painting off and make this pop ever more with this direct bright highlight right here. And I'm just going to drag this out, and of course where I wanted it the heaviest and the brightest is where I applied the paint first, and I'm just dragging this out and just letting this blend in to the other values just like so. Okay, and with some of that white, I'm also going to strike a very bright highlight over here. Believe it or not, it did make it over into the shadow area, and this is going to set this off even more with more shine this way. Okay, with that white left, and I'm just going to drag that on the lip of the bun here on the top and just sort of blend that out, and it just kind of brings that shine and the rest of this together, and just really ramps up the natural realism of this thing. Okay, and so with that light orange dull color, I'm going to continue with all of the sesame seeds. So now I'm going to take some more of that orange and brown together and a little less titanium white, and continuing with these sesame seeds over in the shadow area. This is going to be just a little bit more color on those and a little less white. I'm going to take some of this color right here and out here in the light area, it's a little bit lighter of a shadow that I'm going to be using, so just kind of like this. Okay, and that gives it some lift and realism in that way, so I'm just going to go to all of these and just apply this value for now. And when I get over here into the darker area, I'm going to want to go with a darker shadow, and so that will really show a more realistic transition in this way as well. Okay, now I'm going to go with some raw umber now, a little bit darker here. And over in this shadowed area, a little bit darker here. All right, there we go. And this is totally looking sweeter now like that. I like that. Okay, just like that. I'm going to make some steam here, and I'm not worried about how well it looks or whatever, because I can always cover it up. But I want it to look like it just came out of the oven, or off the grill oven. This is a grilled cheeseburger we're talking about here. So with this, I'm going to go, let's see. Sort of this kind of same color that I was starting off with the sesame seeds. It's this sort of light peachy hue color, and I'm just going to take just a little bit of that color on my brush and matte medium, and with this I'm going to come in here and just kind of do whatever, I don't know, make this however I want. And again, I can just knock back some of this with this black and raw umber mixture if I don't like this. Okay, and okay, see something like this, you can just kind of throw this around however you want. Take some of this raw umber and permanent black together. Alright, something like that, and I'm going to go in here and just kind of knock back just some of this however I want. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush now, and let's see, I'm going to kind of work this around a little bit, and I'm just going to take some titanium white, and I'm going to wipe a lot of that paint off the brush, And I'm going to come in here and go just kind of something like this. And I'm not going to make all of this as opaque as this. And in this way I can get more of a realistic looking steam that's coming up here. Okay, just here and there. So you can just come in here and just kind of play this in however. Knock back whatever, and then, like I said, just make some of this opaque and leave a lot of it transparent like we did with the matte medium. And if you don't have matte medium, just put just a teeny bit of paint on the brush and you can just dry brush and pretty much get the same effect and have kind of this transparency effect to it. So however you want to do that, matte medium or no matte medium, it's all good. A little bit of raw umber, mostly titanium white. You just kind of want to get this highlight thing going. And right down in here, just kind of want to hit some table highlights like this. Okay, and then just a little bit of a break and then some more highlight on the table there. Just going to take a little bit more raw umber. And I love to knock stuff back and go back over it. It just helps to settle down, blend in, add some texture and all of those things. So I'm not afraid to lay color down. I can always go back in. Okay, I'm just going to take some of this brown, just a touch of it, and some of this orange. Okay, just kind of something like this. A little bit more brown maybe to that. Okay. And what I want to do is just sort of kind of reflect some of the color of the burger into the table here. It just kind of gives this sort of greasy kind of table appearance here. Okay, just kind of something like that. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Just something like that. With my script liner brush, lots of water, and titanium white. I'm going to go ahead and pull this through to a point, and I'm going to go ahead and sign this piece. I'm going to say right here. And I want to thank you guys so much for all your watch time and following along. I hope that this lesson was clear and that you guys were able to follow along. And this is super simple, just some values of different colors, putting them where they go and blending on top of other ones into lighter and darker values. And it's really just build up layer after layer and push colors around until you get what you see and cover up and bring back anything that you don't like or that you do like. And it will totally turn out. So totally give this one a shot. Let me hear your questions and comments down below. And until next time, happy painting, everyone.